We're going to reveal the massive, literally global industrial journey behind a super simple, everyday bathroom item that you probably used this very morning. I mean, it's cheap, it looks incredibly basic, and it just sits there next to your sink. But the reality of how it actually gets there? Well, it's anything but simple.
Seriously, think about it for a second. What if I told you that the exact toothbrush sitting in your bathroom right now was cranked out in a factory capable of producing millions of them every single day? It's kind of a mind-boggling scale of production when you really stop and think about it. Just making one single toothbrush involves extreme precision molding, thousands of tiny bristles, high-speed machinery, and quality checks that happen in literal fractions of a second. So we're going to take a journey inside the factory to see exactly how a basic pile of plastic and nylon transforms into that perfectly engineered tool you use every morning.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's the chronological factory tour we're about to take. We'll start with the raw materials and melting, move right into molding the plastic handle, and then tackle the highly complex process of inserting and finishing bristles. After that, we'll hit automated quality control and wrap the whole thing up with packaging and global distribution.
Section 1. Raw materials and melting. So when you first step onto the factory floor, the start of this whole journey might actually surprise you, because the entire process kicks off with just two very ordinary-looking materials: plastic pellets and nylon. Huge, massive deliveries of these tiny plastic pellets arrive at the factory and get stored in these giant containers. And while they look pretty unremarkable, just little beads really, they're the foundation of everything. Interestingly enough, manufacturers don't just use one universal type of plastic either. Different parts of the toothbrush actually require different types to perfectly balance out strength, flexibility, and, how it looks.
The injection molding process brilliantly illustrates exactly how those ordinary little pellets undergo a massive transformation. They're fed right into a machine where extreme heat is applied until they literally melt down into a thick, flowing material. Once it hits that molten state, bam! It's injected into specially designed molds at incredibly high pressure. Within just a matter of seconds, the recognizable shape of a toothbrush handle just appears out of thin air.
Which brings us to Section 2, molding the plastic handle.
Let's look a bit closer at what happens the absolute second after that hot, flowing plastic enters the mold. This step requires, frankly, an extreme level of precision. Since the factory is making millions of completely identical handles, there is literally zero room for error. Even a microscopic molding defect, tiny, can cause an entire batch to fail inspection. The plastic has to cool down and harden almost instantly. Then the mold pops open and these highly precise robotic systems extract the freshly formed handles. At this stage, they honestly look pretty close to being finished toothbrushes.
But we're missing something big. Section 3. Inserting and finishing bristles.
Right, so those handles aren't actually finished. They're missing their most crucial component. Putting hundreds of tiny bristles into a toothbrush head is actually the most complex, trickiest stage of the whole process. Long strands of synthetic material, usually nylon, are fed into specialized machinery and sliced to very precise lengths. Then, the newly molded plastic head gets positioned perfectly under a bristle setting system. Small bundles of that nylon are gathered up and inserted right into those tiny pre-molded holes. The machine just fires away, repeating this high-speed insertion row after row, millions upon millions of times.
So, the crucial point here is that simply pushing those bristles into the holes isn't nearly enough. Nobody wants bristles falling out in their mouth while they're brushing, right? That'd be terrible. They have to be permanently locked in. Depending on the exact manufacturing method they're using, these bristle bundles are secured using mechanical anchoring techniques or other specialized processes, just to absolutely guarantee they stay firmly in place under the daily stress of you scrubbing your teeth.
But wait, actually, we aren't quite done with the bristles yet. When they're first inserted, they aren't necessarily ready for your gums. They can be pretty sharp. Specialized machines have to come in to trim and finish the tips. And there's a fascinating difference between basic and high-end brushes here. While a standard toothbrush is just going to have trimmed bristles, a premium toothbrush might feature carefully rounded or polished bristle ends. These are purposefully designed to feel much smoother and way more gentle against your gums, which provides a totally different brushing experience.
Section 4. Automated quality control.
Now that it finally looks and feels like a real toothbrush, you have to remember the insane speed we're dealing with here. At these production rates, even the smallest mistake multiplies rapidly. To combat this, factories rely heavily on high-tech automation. As these toothbrushes are just flying down the line, automated cameras and sensors are constantly inspecting them. They're checking for perfect shape and color, scanning for missing bristles, and just keeping an eye out for any possible defects. If a brush doesn't meet the rigorous specs, boom, the system instantly rejects it, knocking it right off the line.
Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer volume.
Millions. This automated inspection is absolutely critical because these factories aren't just producing a few hundred boutique items in a batch. No, they operate on a relentless, massive industrial scale every single day, churning out literally millions of handles, bristle bundles, and finished heads.
Moving on to our final stop, Section 5, Packaging and Global Distribution.
Once they pass those final quality checks, the factory floor suddenly gets even faster, if you can believe it. Thousands of finished toothbrushes now need to be packaged without slowing down the continuous line running right behind them. The whole process is completely automated. Machines rapidly position each individual toothbrush and place the packaging material, like a plastic blister pack or a cardboard backing, right around it. At the exact same time, printing systems are adding product info, branding, barcodes, and sealing the whole shebang together seamlessly.
Let's move to the next step and see how this builds into the broader logistics phase. Once they're individually packaged, automated systems count and group the toothbrushes into smaller boxes, which are then placed into much larger shipping cartons. Barcode scanners are tracking every single product as the boxes are sealed up, organized, and ultimately loaded onto huge shipping pallets by automated warehouse systems. It's like a giant, perfectly choreographed dance.
From there, we follow this incredible global supply chain. From those factory pallets, trucks transport the products to massive distribution centers. Then they get shipped out to retailers, supermarkets, pharmacies, online fulfillment warehouses, literally all over the world. Until finally, one of those boxes delivers the very toothbrush that makes its way right into your personal morning bathroom routine.
I want to highlight this quote from our source material real quick because it honestly perfectly summarizes the whole operation. It says, the entire system is designed around speed, consistency, and precision. And the reason toothbrush manufacturing is so incredibly automated and so highly precise is simple. The global demand is just enormous. Every single day, people all over the planet are replacing their old toothbrushes with new ones, and these factories have to keep up with that endless cycle.
Ultimately, the humble toothbrush is a true masterclass in modern manufacturing. It is a highly sophisticated mass production process, heavily disguised as an ordinary, boring bathroom product. But every single tiny detail you see, the exact ergonomic shape of the handle, the specific arrangement of the bristles, those tiny details in the head, all of them were engineered on purpose and produced by a wildly coordinated system of robotics, materials, and global logistics.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Next time you brush your teeth, are you going to look at your toothbrush the exact same way? I challenge you to remember this massive industrial journey tomorrow morning when you pick it up. It didn't just magically appear on a store shelf. It was born from extreme heat, high-speed robotics, and global logistics. If you loved understanding the hidden world behind this everyday object, make sure you subscribe to see more of these explainers. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next one.